What's up, everybody? I don't know if this is actually going to amount to anything, but I might as well record it. If you're like me with an LS swap foxbody with a forward-facing turbo kit, space is an issue. A lot of guys run the 66 style Mustang radiator, which is what I got here. I got a real nice small fan on there that moves a lot of CFM, but as you can see, it's been on there with no shroud. What I'd like to do is try to fabricate something. I'm a big DIYer guy, so we're going to try to make one on our own. The idea is quite simple. I'm going to use cookie sheets. The radiator dimensions are roughly 16 by 18. I was able to get two of these 12 by 18 pans. I'm going to merge them together, cut out an opening for the fan, bolted to the radiator, and hopefully I'll get a little bit more improved airflow and ultimately lower some of my coolant temps. Alright, so in my mind, basically we're going to cut these roughly about 10 inches wide, maybe about 9.5, and I want to get rid of these lips obviously, but then I want to cut it so that the two can slide into each other, and then I ultimately want to rivet them together. So we're going to do a little here and see how it turns out. Alright, so now we got the fan removed. Obviously the radiator is exposed. Basically what we're trying to do is shroud off the whole fin area. Obviously the more flow through more surface area, the better the cooling. So as I mentioned previously, 16-inch seems to fit almost perfect. I was unable to find one that's 16 by 18, which is approximately the size of this radiator. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to merge the two pans together, and then once that fits the radiator nicely, we'll cut out an opening for the fan and then go from there. So you can see with the two pans together, they're roughly about 23, maybe 24 inches with the lips on there. There is a flange on the radiator, at least with my style. This is just a cheapo radiator, but there are these lips here. So the overall fin area is 16 by 18, but we're actually going to go about 18 3/4 and try to use some of these holes that they have there so we can just mount it straight to it. Alright, so now that we got the rough cut done, I'm not overly concerned with how well the middle lines up, because that's going to get all pretty much cut out. But now we need to figure out how much more material needs to get taken off. So right now we're at roughly about 19 3/4 wide, which is perfect. So what I'd like to do is I'm going to use the structure of the pan to basically brace itself. So I'm going to cut slots on these edges here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to let them overlap, and then by doing that I could actually rivet the two sides together, and then they'll actually brace each other and make basically one piece. Once I get the overall size done, then we can worry about cutting the center out for the fan. Most of it will actually be getting cut out, so that's why I'm not too concerned with this lining up great here. I will actually probably take a grinder though and make the edges back here and up there look a little nicer. Alright, so what I did here on opposite corners, basically I removed this lip on the bottom, and then I also put a slice in the top here. So I did it on the bottom of this pan. Top is still normal, and then on the bottom this pan is normal, but then the top of this one has that cut. The idea is that the two halves should be able to slide over each other, giving me adjustability on width before I riveted them together. Alright, so I got them slid together here. So you kind of see here how that lines up. Basically the one pan is inside of the other, and then on the inside you can kind of see that it's flapped open on the outside there. This is over that side, and then basically the opposite on that. Measurements wise, I think we're pretty darn close right now. Right at about 19, so I'm going to scoot it in slightly more, but we'll do a quick test fit on the radiator just to see how it looks. All right, so if you look at it now, it's pretty much covering the entire radiator, which is way better than we had before. The idea of the shroud is basically it's going to force the air to pass out of the fan opening, which ultimately will pull air from areas that currently the fan is not covering. Alright, so now I got the two sides riveted together. You can see it's pretty rigid now. So the next step's going to be making the fan template. So I'm using a small fan here. Basically, you're going to lay it on there. You're going to mark where you need to cut and then open it up. Alright, so there's the part we cut out. There's the new quote-unquote shroud. I did use a grinder to kind of clean up the burrs so you don't have any sharp edges. Also, just as a note, when you make your marker line, that's obviously going to be like your outside of the fan. Cut a little bit on the inside so that way it has something to mount to. Alright, so I didn't record everything because we had a nice little accident with the drill bit, but I got the 4 holes drilled for the fan now, and then I got 4 holes on the corners to mount to the radiator. So we're going to try to slap this together and see how it all fits. Before that, I'm going to paint it probably flat black just so it looks a little better. Alright, so this is kind of the finished product. Fan's mounted. Let's see, basically we got the four holes, and then these 4 holes are what's going to go on the radiator. I just threw a little coat of flat black paint just to make it a little less blingy under the engine bay. So we're going to mount it and see how she works out. Alright, so I just took it for first drive. Cooling system is way better than it was previously. Pulling that through. Once the screen boots up, you'll see. So 162, 161, 160, fan shut off. So normally when I was cruising, it'd creep up about 200 degrees. With the hood off, obviously is helping, but today it basically get up to 180 to kick the fans on, pull it down to 160, kick them off. So seems like the shroud's making a big difference. What I ended up changing, you can see I put a bolt here. Originally had zip ties holding it on, but that was more for a test. But overall, for 20 bucks, highly recommend it. So one thing I didn't show in the video is I put rubber around the edge just to seal a little better, but I'll put a link to the pans in the description. If anybody's got any questions, make sure to ask in the comment section, and please subscribe. Thanks.